Hey guys, so this video I'm going to talk about defending the stack pass, or more a movement that's really important in a lot of different situations to prevent it. Okay, so this can come about in a lot of different situations. It can be while you're doing a triangle choke, the guy's grabbing your ankles and stacking, but it's a common motion that you need to focus on. We're going to look at when the guy starts pushing your ankles over your head first. So what he's doing here, go ahead and push my ankles up the stack. He wants to stack you up here. You see how my hips come up off the mat? That's what you should always try to avoid. Even if you're really flexible, push my feet up. If the guy gets my hips up off the back and he can get his knees behind my back, I can't come back down. Even if you're flexible, you're stuck here at a minimum, right? So what we always want to try to do is anytime a guy puts pressure upward, I want to try to keep my hips on the floor. So I do this motion, it's hard to see, where I arch my low back. You can see this gap here. I arch my low back and I put my hips heavy to the floor, okay? With the stack situation where he's grabbing your ankles, there's a lot of preemptive stuff about moving your feet and trying to avoid that. But if the guy starts to do it, the first thing you can't do is try to drive your feet down to resist and lift your hips, because that drives you up into the stack. What we want to focus on instead is arching the low back, and as he pushes, try to open your legs a little bit wider because it makes it less stress on your hamstrings. For this aspect of the defense, there is a bit of mobility will absolutely help. Okay, some guys are super flexible, can put their legs all the way up here and leave their hips on the floor. Of course, that's something to work towards, everyone to be really flexible. But even if you're not flexible, you don't have a choice. You still have to do the same move. You can just let it go less far, okay? If the guy gets a hold of you here, you arch your back or arch your low back, push your hips to the floor, try to open the legs wide, and if he continues to push, I'll try to move my feet off of the thumb, right? So you think like, you know, like the self-defense thing they show where you like move out of the weak spot of the, you know, the finger and thumb like this. You can come closer, right? Yeah. You can try to get your foot off of that. So usually I try to go around the thumb or around the fingers on the outside, but you need to move, because if you stay direct and he keeps pushing, unless you're really flexible, it's going to be hard. So as soon as he start grabbing, I start moving like this and make my hips flat. Okay, this is also really important. Come into like a triangle choke. If you just landed a triangle choke, this is also a very common situation. A lot of people are here and the guy starts driving into stack like this, right? So you see my low back coming up off the floor here. It's really important when that stack starts to happen, start driving up, that I do this arching of the low back motion and make my body really flat and long. That makes it such that when he drives forward, keeps stacking, that I can slide out and I'll try to move out to the side, making the choke tighter, right? But you can't allow, when the guy starts stacking, that back to start rounding, because then he starts pushing you up, okay? This is also really common, like if you play spider guard at all, come down to like just on the ground for now. Okay, if I have like one lasso, one spider, or whatever, often, whether the guy's standing or he's on the ground, the guys will drive into you a little bit. And one of the biggest mistakes I see is people lift their hips. This starts getting you stacked. If the guy starts driving into me, I want to keep my hips down. I can push back with my legs or move, or if he drives in too much, I can take a triangle from here. But I want to keep my hips down. You should always be trying to avoid that really coming up off the mat. Of course, with the stack, if you're really unflexible and you're to a point where the guy has already got you all the way up here, there's a critical point where the best decision probably is to roll back through and then try to defend from there. But when you do that, you're always putting yourself at risk. At minimum, he's getting an advantage, if not him taking your back or putting you in a front headlock. So go and stack again. Yeah, like that, yeah. So he gets up here, right? So I feel in trouble, I roll through, right? You can do this and try to catch, and it can work, but it is a bit risky. So the best case scenario is as soon as the guy gets that stack pressure, to try to move your feet, arch the low back, and drive your head back to the floor. I even open my shoulder blades a bit, okay? So start stacking again, like that, like put a lot of pressure, quick. Like that. See, I move fast to get off of this position. Now I can fire, okay? So I usually address positions like kind of like in a case-by-case scenario, like this is what you do in spider guard, this is what you do in daily Evo. But this body movement is such a common theme. Honestly, in more positions that I just showed, those were the three that stood out most to me, that I just thought was a good topic to cover because it really helps in so many situations. It's one of the movements fundamental movements that I think a lot of people at white belt, blue belt really struggle with or have not been taught, and it makes all the difference when developing your guard, okay? I'm going to get to doing the video on how to study properly. I'm also doing a video on comboing moves, but I'm working on the video editing stuff, so it's going to take a little bit longer. So I wanted to put one out in the meantime. Okay, guys, if you guys like the video, as always, like, subscribe, share. Thanks a lot. Thank you.